Hello.
Hello.
Oh, good. We hear each other.
Oh, great. But that's all? Two people?
I think one more two people have sent an email to me that they will be absent,
Oh, okay.
but we can start. Let them. So, in the last session, we were discussing about fears. And we discussed briefly there are of six enemies of the mind that causes the fear. Endless fears, failure, frustration. As long as we carry these six enemies in the mind, the fear, failure, and the frustration will continue in our life. And ultimately, that leads to anxiety, reaction, blame, complaint, and long list. First is the desire for seeking. First is outsourcing peace and happiness outside in the world. So that is the desire. Desire for food. Food is available at the physical level. It is okay. So I'm specifically saying outsourcing peace and happiness outside is the first enemy present in the mind. Now the chain reaction starts. Desire for peace from a partner is fulfilled. I continue to repeat it. When I continue to repeat, the repeat desire, repeat outsourcing of happiness is greed, craving. And if outsourcing of the happiness is not fulfilled, so the mind is agitated, and that agitation turns into anxiety and stress and anger, duality, and a conflict. So you see, when we outsource the happiness outside, it begins fulfilled, you have a problem. Not fulfilled, you have a problem. Who is going to fulfill the repeat desire? How long? But why the repeat desire you are saying is a problem? For example, any food item or recipe gives you happiness first time. Second time you eat it, your level of happiness goes down. Third time, further goes down. And after 10 or 20 times, you lose interest in that. You lose interest in that, but your craving of that happiness continues. That is why the repeat desire is a problem. And when the desire is not fulfilled, there is always a problem. Agitation, anger, fear. So three enemies are there. Now all the three, when it creates a chain, then our mind doesn't stop. It says, it declares, it claims happiness is outside. So it is like a mirage water. What is mirage water? It is a delusion. So my mind develops a kind of a deluded thought process. Honey, you don't love me. You don't love yourself. That's why honey doesn't love you. Crazy. No, I'm not happy because I'm not happy because something is not done in the world outside. That is a part of the delusion. So we always have a thought. No, that also creates a lot of problem because it creates a blame, complaint, reaction, game. Fourth, so you say you have a desire, hesitation, repeat desire, that means greed. Three enemies, fourth is delusion. So now all the four creates a big ego, the pride, and the pride leads to jealousy. You look at it. I have a big house, you don't have it. I have a luxury car, you don't have it, etc., etc. So these are the six enemies which causes endless fears in our life. They are the fundamental reason for fears. We don't wake up in the morning and we don't say that I am scared of the death. There is a fear of death. In modern psychology, we talk of fear of rejection and etc., etc. So basically, all those fears can be placed here. Behind those fear of rejection, fear of death, etc., arise due to these six enemies of the mind. That is what we discussed in our last session. So then we understood that it is what is important. What is important? Uh, what is important is the practice. All the eight steps are important. We have to follow, practice. Eight steps are prepare the mind on waking. The moment you wake up in the morning, you just even sit on the bed, eyes closed, and just do the Mangalacharan mantra. Why? The mind is already habituated to invite desires or outsourcing the happiness outside, or blame and complaint second level, or idea fear of rejection outside, or the pride. So instead of you wake up in the morning with these thoughts, which changes your mood and the mood of the mind, it is always good to start with the moment you wake up in the practice, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, may there be happiness for all, may there be peace for all, may there be love and wisdom for all, etc., etc. Any mantra will do, or you simply pick up one mantra, Om Shanti. Let me look at the breath and Om Shanti. In the background, your mind is saying, yes, I'm moving inward, not outward. Every day when you wake up and do the practice in between 5 to 10 minutes, after a few weeks, your mind is attracted to this simple practice in the morning because you realize the importance, the way the morning mind uh, changes its state, that state continues throughout the day. So, in the practice acronym, R is the reflection. Reflect your daily living in the night. Reflect your daily living means what? What I have to reflect? The way I think, speak, and act during the day. So, thought, speech, and action are the same. But behind, what is the mental state of the mind behind the thought, behind the speech, behind the action? What it means, someone knocks at the door and you find your neighbor full of reaction, blame, and complaint. Her attitude is like this, so your mind sits down with anxiety. So now that anxiety expresses the thought, speech, and action. This is what I have to notice. My attitude, behavior, and conduct behind the thought, speech, and action every day in the evening. In the evening, you also do the Mangalacharan mantra practice for 5-10 minutes, and then you reflect on how many times I went into anxiety, stress, duality, conflict, blame, complaint, repeat desire, craving. Means that I am not I am not comfortable. That comfort level is not maintained. What disturbed my comfort level? So, what you are doing in the evening, that you are bringing that unconscious, habitual, and impulsive material at the conscious level. But what is the benefit of bringing it at the conscious level? The moment you bring it conscious level, your impulsive, habitual mind will start dissolving. The next day will be better. It is a kind of a reversal process. The more you analyze and reflect in your life, oh, I reacted to this guy, and that reaction caused anxiety in me. Was it? Did it give me any benefit? No. So next time this guy will come, I will maintain the calm and I will not do it. That is the proper process of reflection. And gradually our mind becomes peaceful. But the second step cannot be done without when you don't know what are the principles of Eastern wisdom. That is the third step. So it means you apply the mantra and discernment at the during your daily living. The fourth step that you connect to the satsang, connect to the satsang. Fifth is you go deeper understanding of the principles of Eastern wisdom, not only intellectual, but assimilation and digestion. And the sixth step is internalization of these principles. Internalization means I remember. It is not that in a live session we understand the reaction is not good and then we react outside. So it is a dry intellectual understanding. Internalization means that I assimilate it, digest it, and I remember. And seventh is that cultivate daily discipline means we have to practice daily until the time comes we don't need to do the practice. We have reached to that state. And the eighth is the E letter, means the huh? And what is the seventh level? It is the breathe practice, breathe acronym that we have been doing the practice following the breathe level. So any Mangalacharan practice will do. Any Mangalacharan practice will do. So now we have picked up. So today's lesson we have to go a little deeper about satsang. We discussed briefly last time satsang means company, association, relationship with the real. So all these sessions are known as satsang in Eastern wisdom. So we can also think in terms, oh, means it is a session, it is a formal session, it is a live session, it is what we say a talk or a discourse in modern language. But there is a big difference between a discourse, formal talk in universities, colleges, or in a retreat. Then what is the difference between these talks and the talks in a modern system? Very small difference. It can be a very big difference. You have to you have to absorb completely. When we say satsang means the company and association with the real. When we have a discourse and a talk on any other subject, it is a talk of a relative reality. Talk on physics, talk on anxiety management, talk on fear management. So, what we are doing in those talks, we always try to find the solution at the relative level. No, hold it, hold your anger so that you don't go into anxiety. But in satsang, we say we want to move the mind to the absolute reality. Where is satsang? Satsang means association with the real self. What about the discourse and other talks? They continue to live in this relative reality. They don't talk about real self. They don't talk about permanent peace and happiness. They don't talk about love within. They only talk about, okay, you build the relationship, so you have a good relationship. If you don't blame and complain anyone, if you don't have an anxiety and duality, what we say in satsang, you find the real self, you start living with the real self, your anger, anxiety, blame, complaint will dissolve by itself. Big difference between the satsang and the formal talk and talk and the speech, whatever we say, or motivational. We have many motivational speakers. They talk at length about the fear. They don't go to the root cause of the fear. They don't go to the root cause of the fear. So there is a big difference between the satsang and the talk. Whatever we talk, we always talk with reference to the real. Our reference point is the real. Talk on anxiety in modern discourse, the reference point is management of anxiety, management of stress. So, what happens? We dig very deep inside the anxiety, we don't find the root cause of anxiety. Same way, the root cause of the fear. It is missing. So, we have understood there are six enemies. We say enemies. Why they are enemy? I'm outsourcing happiness. Now reference with the real. What is the point? We say happiness is not outside. Why you are outsourcing happiness, love, and wisdom outside? You cannot find it outside. And if you can find outside, let me know. Any person has a property of permanent happiness. Anything, any event, any car, your money. What we think? If money is happy, I am happy. Means what? If I have a good balance in the bank account, I am happy. But happiness is not there. My partner is happy, then I am happy. Happiness is not there. Happiness is not there. We have to be vigilant, attentive, and understanding. It is the desire, anger, or hesitation, greed, pride, hmm? Pride and what we say delusion and the jealousy that causes. Now look at the desire. I must have this person, position, achievement. Without it, I am incomplete. I must have this person, position, achievement in the world outside. Without it, I am incomplete, and that causes lack of happiness, and because I'm lacking happiness, so I have a fear. So I'm relating these six factors present in the mind, which leads to extreme form of the fear. Oh, my 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 neighbor succeeded. He got he succeeded in this venture and I failed. So there is a fear. So the hesitation means the desire is not fulfilled. Someone or something in is blocking me. This is unfair and dangerous. It causes my anger and anxiety. It prevents me to fulfill my desire. So I have a fear, greed, repeat desire. Even when I get it, I want more and more and more. Security is not enough. Security, outsourcing security is not enough. Then we have a delusion. This identity, this relationship, this outcome is me. I cannot lose it. Then we have pride. I am better than others. My worth is in my status. My worth. My worth is in my status, in my bank account, in my beauty, in my etc. etc. That is what the pride is. Matsarya means the jealousy. They have what I lack, so I feel frustrated. I have more than you. I still I am driven by my ego. So one day you have more than me, then I have a problem. Uh, Understand, it's a beautiful way to explain, our masters explain. The big existential fears. Now go to the modern science for a while. What are those existential fears? Failure, rejection, loneliness, change, death. Well, these are few of the, we say the existential fears are. They become intense because they are filtered through these six and enemies of the mind. Take one example. What about the fear of failure? Behind the fear of failure, you have outsourced happiness. You have a desire for happiness outside. That is why I have a fear of failure. So when I don't outsource my happiness outside, where is the question? But I have already outsourced the happiness outside. It means I have a desire. I must succeed. Anything less means I'm not enough. So I have a fear of failure. And I have also a fear of repeat desire, which leads to craving and obsession. If I don't succeed, I will lose money, status, and security. And it also leads you to pride. If I fail publicly, my carefully constructed image will collapse. You see that I'm categorizing failure, rejection, loneliness, change, and the death. They are existential fears. How they are related to the six enemies. What about the fear of rejection? Desire comes in all. So now look at the first enemy, desire. Fear of rejection. Can you relate it? I need this person's approval to feel complete. I need your approval that I have given a good satsang. So obviously there is a fear of acceptance, fear of not acceptance, and fear of rejection. What about the jealousy? If they choose someone else, it proves I'm less desirable. What about delusion? My identity is fused with this relationship. Their rejection, his or her rejection, feels like an I annihilation, fear of rejection, fear of loneliness. Loneliness, again, desire, outsourcing happiness. First, first enemy that causes all the fears is the desire. Desire for happiness outside, desire for food, basic survival. It has no problem. The fear of loneliness and the desire, outsourcing happiness. I need a constant company or stimulation to feel real. You put me into a room for 5 years, I'll be the happiest person. Greed. Greed and fear of loneliness are also related. I must hold relationship, followers, and attention. I have around 20,000 odds followers on the Facebook, and the last year I deleted everything. Not required, not interested. And delusion, my self worth is only in being seen, in being loved or needed. I don't have a confidence within me. I seek confidence, I borrow the confidence from others. That is the fear of loneliness. You see how two or three factors or two or three enemies present in the mind triggers these fears and continues. Fear of change. Fear of change. Anger, if things change, I lose control. That is not tolerable. It means, I don't expect a change. I may change, honey, you should not change. Then I'm happy. What a crazy stuff. And that is the fear of the change. Greed also brings the fear of the change. Change might reduce what I owe and what I enjoy. If my role or identity shift, who will be in the eyes of others? These jealousy, hatred, and the fear of the death. Is it because of the delusion? I identify so tightly with my body, with my mind, and the story, so I have a fear. Jealousy, if I die, nobody will remember my greatness. Who remembers the greatness? And jealousy, others will go on living, enjoying, and being celebrated. I will be raised from the earth. Now, one day we will be all be raised from this. So the Eastern wisdom helps us to recognize anxiety and company, suffering and the company present in the mind. We have a company incorporation or we have LLC. So like this, our mind hmm, sits with the treasure, which is known as suffering and co or anxiety LLC, limited liability corporation. Why it sits in the mind? Because of these six enemies. Why the six enemies are there? Because of ignorance. What is that ignorance? I don't know my nature. What is my nature? I am of the nature of real self. A real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So when I recognize that I am happiness, why should I outsource happiness outside? So this desire, outsourcing happiness, is like a hungry salesman. The second, the repeat desire or the greed is like a holder. Pride is like the image manager. Delusion is like the clinger. It wants to cling. Jealousy is like a competitor. And agitation is like the bodyguard. And all are present with me that causes these problems in our life. So if we follow the practice, acronym, all the 8 steps, and then we do the breathe practice. Let us do the breathe practice. Close your eyes and close your eyes and build the ground. Build the ground by place, position, and posture. Means internally, mentally, you check, you align your body and you check place, position, and posture. You build your ground. It is all about somatic awareness. And in the breathe acronym, the second step is the R, means return your senses. What it means, return your senses? It is already there all the time, in all the locations and events. What we miss? Mind is running outside because it has outsourced happiness in different directions. So it never looks at oneself. So, what we do in the second step, return your senses, you look at your body mentally from top of the head to the toes. Look at your body. So, when you look mentally your body from top of the head to the toes, you experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now pay attention. It is not scanning the body, much more than scanning the body. You are simply changing the direction of the mind from outside the world to inside, and you experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You continue to move your mind from the top of the head on the skin to the toes. When you reach to the toes, you restart until you start experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now, in the breathe acronym, you will be able to remember the steps. B means you build your ground, somatic awareness by place, position, and posture. You return your senses by experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Third step is the letter E, experience, observer, and separate, observed. Or you simply you experience, observer, and observe. So what it means? When you move your mind inside, you start noticing thoughts, feelings, and emotions. First thing, you also become aware of unwanted, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts enter the mind. You are noticing, means they are observed, and you are observing. So you regain, you see that what happens? You regain the power of being an observer, being an observer, or you can say, or knower. This power is lost. This power is lost, huh, during the day, in delusion, in ignorance. So you are a knower. What is known as the thought, feeling, and emotions. You continue to be an observer, and now there are some thoughts, uninvited, unwelcome thoughts, continue to enter the mind. So either you replace it with the Mangala Charan mantra, or you superimpose. Superimposition is easy. What it means, that is the next step, is activate wisdom. What it means, suppose any thought of reaction passes to your mind, you notice it, and on it, mentally you say, may there be happiness for all. Any thought of greed or hesitation enters the mind, may there be happiness for all. You are aware of that thought. Over that thought, you just superimpose. You just say it mentally, so that your attention not going to uninvited thought. It is going to, may there be happiness for all. May there be peace for all. May there be completeness for all. That is third line of the Mangalacharan mantra. And may there be auspiciousness for all. So you are consciously withdrawing the attention from those thought, feeling, and emotions which can lead you to nurture the six enemies already present in the mind. On the other side, it helps you to dissolve, minimize, reduce the occurrence of those thoughts consciously. And one day, when you are doing it regularly, what will happen one day? The mind will enjoy this education, and one day your mind will say, no, continue to sit for hours together. So even before you complete all the steps, you enter into a state of meditation or mindfulness. But that comes because of the sincerity, commitment. So now in the breathe acronym, we have completed the B step, building the ground. We have completed R, return your senses. We experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And then we are E, experience the observer, the E letter, and then we activated the wisdom by, we activated the wisdom means instead of a, you activate the wisdom means that you drop the deluded mind to discerning mind, and you replace the discerning mind. That is what activating the wisdom, or you can say wisdom mind, or deluded mind, from the deluded mind to the wisdom mind. And then we tending the breath. So once you feel you are settled inside, and there at this moment you start looking at the breath. Looking at the breath means you are aware of the breath. It doesn't mean that you focus on the breath. You are looking at the breath, that you are aware of the breath going in and out. First point of attention. Second point of attention is that you feel the sensation of the breath when it strikes the tip of the nose. And while breathing out, it also strikes the tip. You feel the sensation. That is the second point of attention. But most important is that you do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. You are vigilant that your impulsive, deluded mind do not run after any thought which changes the rate of your breath. So, 3 point attention of the breath. Continue with that awareness on the breath. You see that, instead of unwanted thought continues to distract the attention on the breath, we have already activated the wisdom intellect. So normally, sometimes people realize, people think, not realize, people think that I can get rid of all the crazy thoughts if I focus on the breath. It may be possible for a few days, but unless you understand that these thoughts are unwanted, unwelcome, they enter into your mind on their own. So you have to replace it with some kind of a wisdom and understanding. Then the breath mindfulness works and succeeds. So it is continue to 3 point attention on the breath. The breath is going in and out, feeling the sensation, and and no change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. You are tending the breath. So instead, normally people say, oh, why don't you focus? And the focus, demands some kind of an activity. Tending the breath means watching the breath. Tending also means it is watching. Watching does not. Watching means you are seeing, you're aware. And in that, watching the breath, when we realize the mind is fairly settled in watching the breath, and you can see clearly the breath going in and coming out, that is the right time to move to the next step. Next step starts with the letter H, harmonize, sync. How do you harmonize? The moment you see the breath is going in, you drop Om Shanti. The breath coming out, you drop Om Shanti. Mentally, you drop Om Shanti. Or simply Om will be doing. So there are many ways to harmonize. It can happen counting the breath. It can happen drop the mantra on the breath. Hmm? It can happen by recognizing what recognizing. When the breath is going in, you simply say in. When the breath goes in, and when the you say out, when the breath comes out. Simply you drop out when the breath moves out. So any form of attention grabbing that absorbs your mind is can be done. So it's not only the mantra, it can be anything. And the next and the last step is embody. Embody means here you embody what you are. Means what? What you are? You are in a resting state. You are in a calmer state. You are in the state of happening, not doing anything. In that state of the happening, many vision colors and the feelings of happiness, heaviness, lightness, tingling, experiences are there. You just experience that step. You experience these visions and these things. That is all. You need not to do anything. That is what the embodied step. So it is always good when you do it by yourself. Keep a half an hour window. If your mind is absorbed, you'll be absorbed deeper. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Stay there and ask yourself what happened, what you experienced, and bring the hands down. How are you?
Yeah, I feel nice and peaceful, but I had to, I felt a little bit that the sleep tried to overcome me. So the best is, for me, it's when I go to bed before I sleep, listening to that. I will be much more refreshed. I didn't feel refreshed now,
Yes,
physically, but
yes, yes,
but mentally I felt fine.
yes, yes, you are right. So one day,
It's,
what happens by repeat practice, your mind will settle in an extraordinary higher awareness, then sleep.
yeah,
So once that happens, you will find, oh, this is what the mindfulness or meditative state, where you remain awake, vigilant, relaxed, and calm. But yes, before, while going to sleep, what you are doing is also fine.
okay. All right.
Wonderful. So
I
we
I
will
see
meet.
you
Oh,
tomorrow,
yeah, we
right?
are meeting tomorrow.
At 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at 12. Thank you. Namaste.
Okay, thank you. Nice.
What happened? I have to manage recording, stop recording. Now